going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
What's going on, Coach Dan at Lions Talk Live and the Blue Crew? This is Ball Hawk, Fatima, the founder of the Detroit Lions. Everybody make sure you help support the YouTube channel Lions Talk Live by clicking that like and subscribe button. Let's get it and go Detroit.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live, Coach Dan, by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
And salutations, everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for joining us here today. Hey, Lions Talk Live. It is the middle of the week, and you know what? We get a little bit of news every day, a little bit more news about this situation, that situation. Yes, we've got some new signings if you're a Detroit Lions fan. They came out yesterday. I didn't want to go on the air. Figured to save them for this morning show. We'll dive into that. Brad Holmes' plan seems to be falling into place. So while Lions fans everywhere might have questions about why didn't we do this, why didn't we go after that guy or whatever, it could be that the Detroit Lions just had a plan all off season. And yes, they seem to be hitting on every aspect of that plan. And also, as you can tell for the thumbnail for today's video, we got a little bit of news on Aiden Hutchinson. We've been kind of quiet on the injury front for a while for not just him, but other injured players from a season ago. So we're going to dive into that during the main topic of the day. And perhaps it's good news that all Lions fans are going to want to pay attention to. We'll see when we get there. Real quick, before we get to the main topic of the day, the 5 headlines now. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. Making that march for 13,500 subs. And we're roughly, 60 subs away from it, at least right around there. So if you can help out, that would be most welcome. Also, if you have a half second of time, it's free of charge. Doesn't cost you a dang dime. Reach on down, hit that thumbs up button, that like button, all the buttons. If you watch YouTube for more than 15 seconds, you probably know everybody on YouTube needs those likes, needs those interactions. So if you can help out and assist with the channel, doing that, we try to get every episode between 200, 300, 400 or more thumbs up or likes. Por favor, see what you can do there. Last but never least, if you are considering buying or selling property anywhere in the great state of Michigan, let alone the continental United States, go ahead and give me a call or shoot me a text. You see my number on the screen right over here, 269-998-2384. We can have a quick conversation, what I can do to help you out as far as saving money, saving time, removing worries, making sure you're not being overcharged by anybody or any entity. So we do whatever we can to make the process of buying and selling commercial property, vacant land, new home for you and the fam, your old home for that you want to get out of, whatever it is, we can try to help out and get you going from there. All right, with all that done, set out of the way, let's get the show moving on forward and getting into 5 headlines now. You know, now that Carlton Davis is gone, can we look at the intro for 5 headlines now and say Brad is holding up his hand because he just saved the team basically $12 million by not re-signing CD3 and going with DJ Reed. I'll leave that to you guys to interpret. All right, 5 headlines now. Let me just go to the top of the screen here. And all right, let's see. Former Lions fullback. Let's remember, scary run Brad Holmes has had. Story by John Macron of SI.com. So for those who don't know, this is in regards to fullback Jason Cabinda, who's no longer with the team, at least currently, could always return. Does go on and have an interview in regards to other topics for this young man now that he's moving out with his NFL career. And he spends a little bit of time talking about Brad Holmes, analyzing the chief for the Detroit Lions, the general manager, and starts talking about when you analyze Holmes' last 2 to 3 drafts, just how generationally good those drafts have been, how much impact he has made since he's been the general manager for this team. We all get it, but offers some different aspects to it coming from a player's perspective, not just how he runs the organization, not just the development of the facilities. Remember when Brad Holmes took over the Detroit Lions, we were listed as one of the worst franchises in pro sports when done by independent surveys of the players in regards to just every different aspect of the franchise. But now we're actually in the top 3rd in the NFL in regards to those same metrics, how drafts are conducted, how players are treated, the facilities used, the weight rooms, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You guys get it. Cabinda gives a long and all-access type interview in this story. And if you get some free time, check it out. But Cabinda is, I think, fairly spot on when he talks about what the franchise was before Brand Holmes took over and where it is now. Let's be fair. Lions are probably going to be Super Bowl contenders for at least the next several seasons, maybe longer beyond that if he keeps drafting well. And he does point out how he constructed one of the NFL's best rosters with the first 2 or 3 drafts in his tenure here in Detroit. Talks about some of the all-star, all-world players they brought in. Excuse me, I had to sneeze there. Because we get it. You got people like Kirby Joseph, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Gibbs, Branch, Laporta, James Williams, Hutchinson. I mean, the laundry list of drafted players that he is hit on is just legendary. Look across other NFL teams. You might have a win rate, a success rate of draft picks that are about half of Holmes, and that's considered pretty good. So the fact that Holmes is about 2 times better than the NFL average is probably a strong indication why Committa is right that this GM we have here in Detroit might just be the best one in the entire NFL. Lions re-signed yet another veteran on Tuesday after Monday's deals. Fan side story by John Elford. Elford is right. Lions didn't just re-sign one guy. They re-signed a couple. We'll get to those momentarily. But Zane Zylstra, we thought that we were done improving the tight end room. You started looking around and say, man, we've got some depth there. Well, you know what? The depth got even deeper. Thus far, the Lions have re-signed 10 players from last year's squad while adding 5 outside free agents. On Tuesday, Detroit reportedly re-signed another veteran tight end, Zane Zylstra, per Vineyard Sports. Terms of the deal were not immediately available at the time I went on air. We'll probably find out later in the week, but we get it. They brought back Mitchell Aguiye for another year while officially inking Dan Skipper as well. Both signings aren't huge needle movers for the team, but you know what? You have familiarity. You have guys that know each other. You know as a coaching staff what you're getting out of those guys, and they're all, so far that we know about the contracts, they're all incredibly team-friendly deals. I think that might be another strong indication that guys just don't want to leave Detroit. If I could go to the Chicago Bears and make an extra $1 million for some of these guys, or $500,000, it's not worth it. If I could go to Jacksonville, yes, the weather might be something, but do I want to play for that team, or do I want to remain with the Detroit Lions? So far, what we are seeing throughout free agency is that anybody who's played here before, for the most part, if the Lions have wanted them back, they have come back and on very agreeable terms. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a couple more moves in the next week or 2 or 3 leading into the draft. I'm guessing most of us would want us to add a defensive edge or maybe an offensive guard or tackle or something like that for further depth. But the Lions did re-sign the 8-year-old Zylstra, who's going to come on back. You know what? He's been a good one here for depth reasons in his time in Detroit. All right, Detroit Lions re-signed critical depth piece, defensive tackle Patty O'Connor. Dave Burkett, Detroit Free Press. I do think the Lions dropped the ball on this one because they should have done it on probably St. Patrick's Day just to play off of Pat's heritage. But I think most Lions fans are going to be real happy with this. He came in last year. Yes, is he an impact player, a starter? No, but he is a real nice depth piece who makes plays. He can do it against the run. He gets after the quarterback. O'Connor had 18 tackles and 1 sack in 12 games last season after signing with the team during training camp. He opened the season on practice squad, but played vital snaps on the interior defensive line after Aiden Hutchinson, Ali McNeil, Marcus Danbert, Kyle Pico, Makai Winkle were all lost to season-ending injuries. That's a laundry list of guys that went down. And while the role for Pat O'Connor, when all those guys are back, we'll see where it shakes out. I think we can all agree, if nothing else, the depth on that defensive line is starting to look outstanding. Look at the guys we just mentioned as being out for the season. And well, I think most of us agree, Patty O'Connor, when he was out there, did make some plays. Now that he's going to be a depth piece, a rotational piece, along with all those guys coming back, plus what we're anticipating could happen during the NFL draft, Lions defensive line actually might be sneakily becoming one of the better ones in the NFL. What say you so far, though, Duke Crew? When you look at some of these signings, are you happy or are you sad? Let me know in the comment section. Me, myself, and I think the Lions might have one of the deepest defensive lines in the NFL. All right, next to the 5 headlines now, 5 biggest remaining questions for the Detroit Lions after free agency. MLive.com, Mr. Raven Moore with this one. So biggest questions as he goes through in the article with this all, just kind of things we've already talked about here a little bit. What do we do with some of the depth? Do we bring back, and I'm not going to go through all this, do we bring back Zadarius Smith? What do we do as far as the cornerback position? He does kind of point out that he thinks that the Lions need to add a little bit more depth piece there. I'm not so sure if we'll do that or if we'll just, look to keep grooming, developing the guys we've brought in recent years. I think it is fair to say if the Lions wanted to bring back Zadarius Smith on a team-friendly deal, most Lions fans would be very happy with that. There is some possibility, especially the longer free agency goes and Zadarius hasn't signed somewhere else. At least when I did the notes this morning, I didn't see that he'd signed anywhere. He's been rumored to potentially go to the Philadelphia Eagles. I want to say Philadelphia just re-signed somebody else yesterday. So are they going to continue to look to acquire people? I don't know. And while we all had certain thoughts on Zadarius Smith, the fact that he hasn't signed with someone else as of yet, to me, leads to one or two conclusions. One, he's already kind of talked to the Lions about returning on a more team-friendly deal. Or two, maybe the market for Zadarius Smith isn't as great as we once thought. You want to check out the story by Ben Raven? Go for it and check it all out. I think there's a lot of kind of agreeable things there. Depth on offensive line, bringing back Zadarius Smith, depth in the secondary, et cetera, et cetera. We'll see what they do, though. All right, and then the 5 headlines out, 5 available edge rushers. Detroit Lions could sign in free agency still. Sideline report, Brad Berryman with this one. Again, we'll kind of power through this one because I don't want to spend a ton of time on it. All right, he's got the 5 best available as Von Miller. Miller is more of a name at this point in his career, at least in my opinion. While we all remember how brutally excellent he was as a pass rusher over his time in Denver, the Buffalo Bills, and other places in between, the Rams too, I got to remember he played there. I don't know if he's quite that guy anymore. 2 seasons ago, you guys all know it, he ruptured an ACL, needed basically a season to get back to being right, had a season where he didn't get any sacks. Last year, it was not a bad season for him, just not what you would expect from Von Miller. So are you paying for the name, or can you get him and have reasonable expectations he's going to come in and help with the pass rush? I don't know. I'll leave it to you guys to interpret. He is going to be 36, though. Actually, I think this month he turns 36, and he has not played more than 450 defensive snaps in any of the last 3 seasons. But he and the Lions can be a partnership that would make a lot of sense if he's going to be a rotational piece. I'm just not sure if the Lions are looking to sign a 36-year-old to be the rotational guy. All right, next on the list is DeMarcus Walker. Walker is 6'4" and roughly 280 pounds. Fits the prototypical big end the Lions do desire. Somebody who can stuff the run, set the edge, get after the quarterback. He's played the last 2 seasons with the Chicago Bears. He had 86 pressures, according to Pro Football Focus, along with a total of 7 sacks during that time. He's also alignment versatile. You can put him inside. You can put him outside. Outside, like we already talked about, he sets the edge real well. Oh, and he has played all 17 games in each of the last 3 seasons. Doesn't sound like a Detroit Lions defensive lineman for that reason alone, but he would be the anti-Davenport in that regard, and that the guy just doesn't get hurt. All right, third on the list, Matthew Judon. After missing most of the 23 season with the New England Patriots due to a torn bicep, Judon was traded to the Atlanta Falcons. The idea that he's not an awesome pass rusher at this point in his career, I'll leave that to you to debate. He had 4.5 sacks and 25 pressures in 17 games last year. Not the best season for him by a long shot, but he would be a good rotational piece, at least in this author's interpretation, if the Lions would go after him. In 2022, he did have 17 sacks with 69 pressures, so that's quite the drop off from that season. Emmanuel Ubla, talks between Ubla and the Dolphins about him returning to Miami are apparently not going well at all for the player. It doesn't seem like they really want to re-sign him. So he is probably seeking a noticeable raise after getting just $3 million, a little over $3 million last year. He's probably trying to get it somewhere in the $6 to $7 million a year range. Would the Lions want to bring him in? That I don't know. But he would add a little bit to the pass rush if he came into Detroit. Not a bad pickup there. He is 6'4", 278 pounds, so roughly the same kind of big end out there. And then number 1 on the list, Zadarius Smith. We kind of already touched on him returning. I think if it's a more team-friendly deal, it is possible the Lions bring him back for a depth piece plus some familiarity. Although I do think at this point, Za'Darius Smith is probably not in a good position to have a lot of contract demands. He's probably more on the outside looking in. What say you, though, Duke Crew? Do you want Z money back, Z Smith? I wouldn't be sad about it, but what say you? Do you think it's just time to look towards the draft and say, hey, whoever we get in the first round, second round, etc., that's probably going to be our starting edge, or at least a part of the rotation there. All right, let's get from this all over to you guys to the main top of the day. Let's see what you guys have to say about this news on Aiden Hutchinson and a couple other injured Lions players. All right, so yesterday this news came out, at least late yesterday, and I want to give credit where credit is due. This comes from the Heavies, Ann Erickson. She's all over this story. I'm guessing there was probably other people that reported it, but I just saw the story pop up from her. She's been a long-time Lions beat reporter, and she says that the Lions got some great news in regards to Aiden Hutchinson. We've all seen the videos of him, working out, et cetera, but apparently he did get past a medical hurdle there. He's now full go, according to the Lions medical staff, as far as there are no holds bars in his return. So he can go out there, he can do whatever expectations the training staff wants him to do, the coaching staff wants to do. He's fully cleared for contact. Why is that important? Well, if you guys remember, there was some speculation last season that maybe if the Lions made the Super Bowl or the NFC title game, Hutchinson couldn't return. It did seem like that ran into a little bit of a snag the week or so before the Washington Commanders game, that maybe he quite hadn't got fully cleared to go in return in that scenario. The Lions beat the Commanders, made it to the title game against Philly, or, I guess we can say, yeah, it was Philly, and then the Super Bowl. But now that seems to be news of the past, because Hutchinson has been the first Lions defender that went down with a long-term injury from a season ago, has been fully cleared. This is probably a big win for Lions fans everywhere, because let's be honest, our defensive line with Hutchinson out there is significantly better. The defense overall is significantly better. There isn't video that I've seen on his social media or anything to corroborate Ann Erickson's report, but she is saying per her people that he has been fully vested and cleared. There's no more issues with the leg. Now he can spend the rest of the offseason strengthening, adding to his endurance, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe he's talked to Jen about peptides. I don't know. I can't confirm that, but I'll have to ask her. But this is a big move forward, because one of the biggest worries going into next season is how soon will Aleem McNeil return? No updates on that. Rodrigo, is he going to be back anytime soon? Again, no information that I've seen yet, but this is the first big domino to fall, and let's make no bones about it. This is a big domino. Any worries we've had as Lions fans about Hutchinson being slow to return, maybe he wouldn't be up to speed, maybe it was going to take a couple games before we'd see him out there, that seems to be quelled per this report. Aiden Hutchinson is a generational talent. We all get it. He's probably the best defensive end the Lions have had since, I'll probably say since Robert Porsche. And maybe there's somebody else I'm forgetting in that time span since Porsche retired to Aiden Hutchinson's drafting. But were once when he was drafted, there were people thinking, man, the Lions were reaching on Hutchinson. Maybe they should have went this way or that way. I don't think anybody thinks that way anymore. If you were to redo Hutchinson's draft, he probably would be the number one draft pick, and it would probably be a slam dunk. Well, what this does is this now gives the Lions a lot of flexibility. If this information is all correct, they don't have to worry about Hutchinson or taking it easy with him. It's all strength, recovery, etc., getting him ready to go. And let's be fair, we got about 5 months, 4 months, 4.5 months, whatever it is, until training camp. He's going to be fully ready to go and probably ready for a monster season. Hutchinson's going to be motivated because of the injury, because of the season he was having. Plus, he understands last year, if he doesn't go down, I think it's reasonable to say the Lions defense is 25% better. Does that 25% with him alone on the field get us a win against the Washington Commanders? I have no idea, but I think it's at least in the conversation that, yes, it would have happened. When Hutchinson gets back on that field, along with the other depth we've added on that defensive line, some of that defense just being a little bit better with a little bit more maturity. Plus, he's going to be a little bit more mature. He's probably really starting to hit his peak. I think it's possible the Lions might have the best defensive player in the NFL out on the field and at the end position. If they can do anything to add to it on the opposite end with this draft or this offseason still, you know what? This Lions defense might just be number one in the NFL. All right, that's the news I got for you guys. Let's get over to the Duke Crew comments and get through you guys. Let me scroll to the top of the screen. If you guys have any thoughts, comments, etc., don't be afraid to throw them on over there. All right, Jameer, Grand Rising Duke Crew, back at you. Hopefully you're off to a good start to your morning. Moonscar, good morning. Duke Crew, starting lineup. And back to you, man. Hopefully it is a good day over the town. So great, they named it twice. Marcus, good morning. Dan and Duke Crew, same at you. Stephanie, good morning, boys. Exclamation point. Please be good news. I think it is. Laughing out loud, I couldn't handle any bad news on us. Well, and again, this may be from a few different other places, but at least Ann Erickson, someone that I'd say we all can probably trust in her reporting. She's done this a long time and has been a Lions beat reporter amongst a couple of other NFL teams beat reporters for some time. I can't wait for the season to start, and I'm also a season ticket holder as of this year. Congrats to you. Hey, go have a great time there. I know the Sarge, JD, David, and Nicole, a bunch of my neighbors, man, they're season ticket holders. They love it. I've tried to get Jen to get on board with that. I think it's fair to say Jen is not as ecstatic about going and tailgate and all that stuff as perhaps some other people, but hopefully you and yours have a great time. Jessica, look at Brad Go, exclamation point. We continue to resign our own players. How many do we now have under contract? That's a great question. I haven't looked at the numbers lately, but with all these recent signings, either yesterday or in the last week or two, the Lions are probably pushing around 60 players under contract. If somebody wants to Scooby-Doo that, Google it and put it in the comment section, let me know. But that also means some of these guys won't be here by opening day. Big Eddie, greetings, salutations all. Congrats on the ticket, Shamir. I hope you and the fam have a great time at the games. Yeah, 100%. 100%. I know most people do. I just hope that anybody who goes, hey, be good, enjoy the environment, and hopefully the Lions always send you home with a victory. Henry Moore, good morning, Coach Dan and the Duke Crew. What a team. What a podcast. What a time be a Lions fan. Woo! And thank you for that, Henry, as always. Trey, what's good, Lions Talk Live regulars? Hutch better be good to go when the season begins. Budget Brad hasn't done anything to improve that pass rush. You know, I get we all have our opinions, and, you know, yours can be right, you can be wrong. I have no idea. What I can say is the depth on that defensive line, at least on paper, seems much, much better. You got Adams, you got O'Connor. I mean, I can't even think of all the people. Oguye, and there's probably some other people I haven't even considered that have been signed. So the Lions' depth, if we all believe the hype, that interior defensive line is much, much deeper. Yes, the edge department is probably the one question mark, but you still have the draft. If I am correct in that Brand Holmes is going to trade up to get a targeted person of interest for that defensive edge spot, then I think that defensive edge might be all right. I doubt the rookie is going to start unless they're just that dude, but I do think when you look at Josh Pascal and everybody else we have, if you add a stud rookie and you have that along with the rotation of everybody else, you know what? You get a lot of live bodies that are coming in and out of that sideline and after the other team's quarterback, run defense, etc. I like the situation. Tori, I think Holmes is going to attempt to move up in the draft. Yeah, 100%, Trey. Even every move in free agency has been depth outside of Reed. I'd say that's probably right. I can't really think of any starters unless Marcus Davenport becomes a starter that have been added outside of DJ. All right, Five Fingers ready. We might still trade for Henderson. Could be true. We'll find out. Quentin, since he's asking price is too high for him, no way Brad overpays for anything. No, I would agree with that. Brett, good morning. Dan and Duke. Any chance we bring Z Smith back? I think so. But again, I think it was more time passes on in free agency. Zadarius Smith is probably got less and less of an asking price because if he hasn't signed with somebody else, you know, he's probably got to take what he can. There are quite a few older defensive ends out there, and I think that's part of the problem. They're all to a certain degree, you know, competing with each other. Steve, good morning to Coach Dan and the Duke Crew! Exclamation point. It's been a minute since I've chatted, but streaming every day and giving the thumbs up. Lions Talk Live is my favorite podcast, bar none. Thanks for that, Steve. Hey, good to see you in here as always, man. Anytime you can stop on by, please do so. Feel welcomed. How about that? Drake, good morning, Duke Crew. I really hope Hutch, McNeil, and Rodrigo can get back on the field fast for us. Me too. Obviously, the faster they get back out there, the better for the team. Although you obviously want to do that respectfully and not rush anybody. Dale, greetings, salutations. Hopefully it's good news on Hutchinson. I think it is, man. The fact that he's apparently from the team's perspective fully cleared, You know what? Hey, that means he can just go all out, re-strengthen everything. I get it's the off season, so they're going to take their time with him. They're not going to rush him, but there are no worries about, from a medical standpoint, anything, hiccups slowing him down. Burns, defensive player of the upcoming year for us. You can say Hutch. I am going with Branch. All right. We'll go with Branch. France, I thought we were done signing guys days ago. Looks like we brought back a few more yesterday. We did indeed. Steve, couldn't help but notice that a few podcasts are jumping on Coach Dan's theory of the Lions trading up. And it happens, man. It just, to me, it becomes a math problem. And maybe that's a stock trader in me. If we already got, with all these new guys we've re-signed or added to the team with some of the guys that weren't here a year ago, let's just say I'm right. And I don't have the numbers in front of me, so please forgive me if I'm wrong, but we're about 60. You've got 7 or 8 draft picks. So that puts you around, we'll just say 76. Heck, man, we'll even round down and say it's 65. That means 13 dudes got to walk. You can't keep them all. So what do? If you know you can't keep all those draft picks, you're probably trying to package some of those draft picks up to go and get somebody. I do think the Lions are going to try to push into the teens. Now, the question becomes, is it, 13 or 19? That I don't know. I think 13 would be unrealistic. I think 19 is going to be hard to achieve. But if we can get up there, I think there's going to be some pretty good edges for us to go after. Okay, good morning, Duke Crew. It better be good news on Hutch. It is, my friend. I would hate to have a retire his jersey already. I don't think you're going to have to worry about that. Dale, Zilstra, and Netflix Reynolds are back. Oh, yeah. Yes, they are, my friend. So, in your opinion, it's been a real blessing to have signed all these guys we have. Other than defensive edge and offensive guard, I think this team is stacked. Exclamation point. My guess, those are the draft targets, unless Brad thinks Manu is good to go. Good to go now. So, to your point, I guess that's the unknown question for all of us to consider. You look at the guys we drafted that have been developmental guys. The team and the coaches have much more detailed analysis of those guys than any of us do. Let's be honest. We don't see them on a daily basis. But could it be the team thinks that some of these drafted guys, like Manu, I guess you have to throw Kobe Sorsdale in there, that, who knows, man, maybe Broderick Martin or Sion Baki or whatever. If their opinion on some of those guys are ready to ascend, don't forget Rakestraw either, then this team could be crazy deep if those guys really have made that second, third year jump. And now you add in another draft class, man, it's going to be a battle just to make this team. Susan, good morning, Duke Crew. Exclamation point. Brad isn't finished with the team. We need to wait and see what happens from here. 100%. I don't get the impression Brad Holmes ever stops tinkering with things, tries to find ways to improve. Voltron Force, I've considered starting a channel. Any advice? Yeah, just be you. Do it on something you enjoy. I mean, I don't know what you're considering starting a channel on, but as long as you've got a passion for it, you can do. And by no means am I an expert. The only thing I can tell from the shows that I watch and tend to watch more and more, you can tell if somebody's really interested in that topic, if they've got some good energy for it. So whatever it is, whether it's Detroit Lions, whatever, be passionate about that. Understand it takes time to get a following. And other than that, just be positive about things. There's so many people out there on planet Earth that are Debbie Downers or whatever. I don't know if anybody wants to tune in and see that every day. Maybe somebody does. I don't know. All I can tell you is I'm me, and hopefully it works for somebody. Swim Reaper, what up, coach and crew? Question mark. Woo! And back at you, Man Bear. Good morning, all. Same to you. John, good morning to Dan and the world famous Duke Crew. Woo! From Muncie, Indiana, one pride. Back at you, Johnny. Hope it's a good day down there in Muncie. Pat Rock, that time period between the start of free agency and the draft. Yeah, we're in about that 30-day window where free agency is starting to kind of wind down as far as big news. And yes, we're ramping up now for the draft. David, good morning, Duke Crew family. And to you, Mike K. Coach, whoop, I'll go with that. Good to see you, Mike. Feels like it's been a minute. Robert is wooing as well. Stephanie, love the show. We love you too, my friend. Love the Duke Crew. Keith, good morning. And greetings and salutations, Dan and the Duke Crew. Exclamation point. Go Lions. Got to love the Lions. Otherwise, you're probably not here. Silver, good morning, Coach. Anyone? Same to you, Silver. Aaron, good morning, Coach and crew. What up, though? We need offensive guard and defensive tackle and bring back Z. I do hope we bring back Z. I think he would offer a lot of benefits. As far as offensive linemen, the one thing I can say is there are sort of like defensive end, or I guess you can say a lot of positions. There are some good quality veterans out there. The problem for a lot of the vets is most teams want younger players. So I think that was part of the deal with Kevin Zeitler and other guys when we originally got him. The Ravens let him go for a reason. They wanted to go in a younger direction, cheaper direction. And that's probably the problem a lot of the guys face. It's possible that another team makes, Za'Darius an offer he can't refuse, but I think at the end of the day, his best option is probably here. Dennis, good morning, Dan and crew. Same to you. Phil, good morning. And good to see you, Philly. Nice new thumbnail. Hookadoo. And this show loves you too, Stephanie. There you go. I concur. Damien, peace, eggs, and pancakes. Dan and Duke crew, exclamation point. The best NFL fans reside here in Detroit. I think you are 100% correct. Keith, good morning, everyone. And back at you. Rocky, good morning. All hope it's good news on Hutch. I would think so. But, hey, that comes down to each of us to interpret. Trump's a genius. Woo! And, okay, JK, it's Cracker Barrel, Duke crew. Oh, I'll go with that. Man, I haven't been there in a minute. Let's see, Moonscar. Interesting change, Trumps. Good morning. And Henry Moore, what peptides do you take, Coach? Boy, I guess. Hold on. Jen, a couple of you guys messaged me about it yesterday. If you want more information, just message me or whatever, and I'll send you basically the stuff that Jen had me send out to everybody. I can't tell you the names of them. It's just, not something I pay attention to. She tells me to take this, and I take it. What I can say is her sister's, got a wedding in, I don't know, a couple months. So she's begun working out, try to get ready for that. And I guess she's been taken for a week, and she's noticing it. I can definitely notice it. So all I can say is, hey, for me, myself, and I, they seem to be working, and I would recommend them to anybody. Big D, morning, guys. Back at you. Trumps, laughing out loud. Good morning, Moonscar. Dan did not like my ultra ego. It happens, man. It happens. I get it. Okay, yeah, the broski thing. JK, don't mind the do, but I prefer the screwdriver. Hey, screwdrivers are good from time to time. Keith, I agree. We have the best GM in the league. Yeah, and I get we all kind of know it. I think we all get it. Brad Holmes is great at his job, but when you hear it from a family perspective, that someone inside the family, or I guess Kambin is now outside the family since he's no longer here, that when they break it down from the player's perspective, it's nice to see that the players really appreciate Brad Holmes, even though the guy wasn't re-signed and everything. When he breaks down what the Lions were before he arrived and then after he arrived, I think it's a good read if you got a little time today. Trumps or Ahmad, okay. Amy, good morning, Dan and the best Duke crew, exclamation point. Have a super amazing Wednesday. One pride, what an awesome time to be a Lions fan. Woo! Yes, it's a lot better now than it was in, I guess you could say, the majority of the 80s or the early 2000s. Moonscar, Pat O'Connor, question right now. I am definitely concerned about Detroit not drafting a big defensive tackle monster in the first. Yeah, we've kind of really overloaded the defensive tackle position. And not that a couple of these guys couldn't play the big end role, but I think, at least in my opinion, Surfer, if somebody who's just an absolute stud falls to us, I think we all get it. Brad's going to draft him if that's the best player available. But I do believe he's made this roster constructed to where basically it's offensive line depth. I guess we could continue to add defensive edge. And then after that, I don't know, maybe a cornerback or receiver. But overall, the depth on this team already is pretty outstanding, and we haven't even hit the draft. Dale, you too, Amy. Woo! I concur. Thomas, unless we resign Za'Darius Smith, we won't pick up a defensive end until the draft. Probably true. Let's see. JK, Z Smith still available, and Lions do nothing. Still drives me bonkers. Well, maybe they got a plan. Maybe they just haven't fulfilled that plan as of yet. Keith, bring back Za'Darius. I would be okay with it. Rocky, signing everyone else on the line. Why not Smith? We'll find out. Silver, Zilchtra back, question mark. He's a good receiver, but was nothing with some new potential. Was nothing with some new potential out there? That I don't know. Question mark. I understand resigning your own, but Lions are really doing it thoroughly. Yes, they are, man. This is basically the same team as last year with some, I guess you could say, upgrades with, Lopez and some of the other guys. Courtney, Roy Lopez is a monster, exclamation, a defensive tackle monster, exclamation point. O'Connor is a stud too, D-line better than you think. Z-Man comes back. I think I'm hoping he does, man, because I really like the dude. So, Silver Server, team till the end, I can go with that. I'll go with that too. I concur. Frank, thanks. Smith is overrated. You cannot pay an $11 million edge through the Detroit Lions, but not a ball like that, like this. So, yeah, I go with that, Frank. I think, yeah, if his contract would have been cheaper, say $7 million or so, he probably wouldn't have been cut. But I do understand why they got rid of him for that reason. Pierce, please don't start Davenport. We'll find out if that happens. Pierce, that will be a mistake. It could be 100%. He might not last long. Thomas, Von Miller, forget about it. Too much cash for little worth. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. Your breath on Davenport wrong. He's on the IR. Yeah, you breathe on him wrong. Yes, he would get injured, says Pierce. J.K. Davenport, obviously going to be injured reserve. Hey, you got to keep some players on that spot, right? Frank Tank Davenport wins the starting job in preseason. Ain't nothing you can do about it, bro. All right. Pierce, hoping the rookie we draft wins the job. Could be. If that person's the best player, I have no doubt they'll put him out there. Pierce Davenport is a bum. JK, I was told after draft that when Lions get Z and other free agents, it could be. Trump's, when is the draft already? Yeah, you got about a month or so away. Pierce, another 5 weeks. Okay, yeah. Holy bejesus, says Trump's. Server, Courtney, I like our pieces, but if you think about Aleem out, Reader not really an Iron Man, Wingo, Lopez, C. Smith, O'Connor are good pieces, but not a big dog. A dominant presence, a freak athlete. Okay, I'll go with that. Keith, I say bring back 99. They might just do it. Pierce, Silver, do we know when Wingo is coming back from the ACL? That I don't know, but my guess is he'll probably miss like a month or so of the season. I could be wrong on that, though. Kim, like having all these players to compete for a spot on the best defense in the NFL. Go Lions. That's what I'm thinking, too, Kim. Good to see you this morning. Frank Tink, I agree with Silver Surfer. I go figure what they thought of Zaboom. Yeah, go figure what they thought of him. Frank Tink, is the Detroit Lions team? Yeah, this Detroit Lions team will be fine. I think so. Trumps, how many injuries will we have before the draft? Hopefully none, man. Silver, I don't, Mr. Pierce. Dale, Lawrence Pete, and Keith Shepard. All right. Bill, Z came from Cleveland, not known for good contracts. Don't blame the Lions for holding off on a bad contract. Yeah, 100% with that. I'll go with that. JK, I wanted to start Hutch for the first 3 games of the season, in your opinion. Yeah, I don't know what they'll do there, so we'll have to wait and see what reveals itself in the season. Pierce, JK, full offseason and training camp, he will be fine? I would think so, yeah, given another, whatever the time frame is until September, 5 months or so. So at that point, man, he's 8-9 months from the break. That bone's going to be as good as it's ever going to be, in my opinion. Frank Tank Hutchinson will be Hutchinson. We will be the first game of the regular season for Detroit Lions and get 2 sacks. Hey, I'm hoping for 2 sacks on the first drive. Pierce, JK, Pierce, I would like to see him in preseason first. Okay. Pierce, big domino, question mark. Hutch was one of the dominoes. The other one was McNeil, sadly, midseason. Yes, correct. Server, that was why I have been yelling, get to Kenneth Grant Brad. Yeah, then maybe they do. Maybe they will try to get him. Dan, do those peptides put any lead in the pencil? Yes, I would say, just overall health. You're going to notice a difference everywhere. The one thing I would say is, for a little bit, I was noticing being tired a little bit more. But then, Jen kind of broke it down for me. Your body, what these things do basically is trigger, in layman's terms here, by no means is this in my wheelhouse. Basically, the peptides get your cells to start doing what they did when they were younger. It's trying to rebuild muscle, improve your immune system, all that jazz. So in a nutshell, you get a little bit tired, at least I did for a week or so after taking them, because your body is spending energy on rebuilding itself. I guess that makes sense. Detroit Lions bad guy. He's also human. Hutch is no different healing than the rest of us. Yeah, 100%. Although some could say Hutch might be a little bit superhuman. Pierce, Silver, I really like Harmon from Oregon. Yeah, I do too. If he follows the Lions, I think that's going to be an interesting situation for Brand's team, because I think Harmon is pretty dang impressive. But then again, who else is available there? Man, it's good to have options, right? Dynamite, what's the news on Hutch? He's been fully cleared. He's no longer being protected at all when it comes to workouts, whatever. They're saying, man, he's good to go do whatever he wants to do. So, yeah, he's got now, 4 or 5 months to fully get healed up, re-strengthened before training camp. JK, then I go and think it. There you go. Silver Harmon is great. Yes, he is. Keith, Dale. All right. Dale, my bad. Pete was either 93 or 96, I believe. Senior moment. That happens, man. Let's see. Lions bad guy Hutchinson has a serious major injury. I expect to take 6 games for him to start. to get back into comfortable play. I mean, who knows, man? My expectations for him at this point, and this is just my expectations. I haven't seen him out there. I'm not standing on the sidelines, but my guess is he'll be full go week 1 of the regular season. I doubt if they do much with him in the preseason, just to give him another, month basically of recovery. But my guess is he's your starting defensive end week 1. John, good news on Hudson? It is, I think so. Dale, Keith, definitely agree about getting Z back. Let's see what happens. Silver, only Harmon got those thin legs that scare me a bit. Grant is a mountain will, a strong, explosive foundation. Yeah, they're both good players. Frank Tank, last year is old people. In this time, you start a new season, go Lions. Yes, let's get to the new season. Pierce, Silver, either is fine with me. Keith, 99 is a good motivator. Yes, he is indeed. I like the guy. I like him a lot. Pierce, but we need an edge badly. I think we'll address it at some point. Frank, what does Detroit Lions will have a top 5 defense? I will guarantee you this, go Lions. I think you're going to be right. I think we will be top 5. Trump's defensive end is the only weakness on the team. I'll concur. Let's see. Kevin, awesome news on Hutch. Will be great to see him in OTAs. Would like to get some updated video, something like we had on Giovanni Manu. I won't be surprised in the next month or two, Kevin, that we do get some updated stuff. It just, at least when I got ready this morning for the show, I couldn't find anything. Silver 65, I think. Pierce, Trump's a genius, maybe guard also now. Yeah, could be 100%. JK, Hutch, help coming soon. Don't worry. Yes, he will hopefully get some help. Detroit Lions bad guy. I wish I could afford just one regular season game with everything on entails, let alone season tickets. My gosh, it must be nice to have that kind of money. Yeah, must be. All right, Frank, I don't know what games we are watching, but you are not watching with both eyes. All right, fair enough. Don, with the way we've been pretty quiet in the offseason, drop his Brad might move up and grab the best lineman in this draft. I mean, Don, I can only offer you my thoughts. Sounds like it's the same as yours. To me, it just, again, not to beat it up because we've already talked about it on the show. It's just a math game. You've got 60 some odd dudes under contract. You can't bring in 7 or 8 unless you're just going to cut, I guess, a bunch of guys for those draft picks. It does seem like Brad is more comfortable making trades during the draft. To me, I think I would say this, it's a 80% chance we move up in round 1. That's not a Vegas thing. It's just my interpretation. So I'm going to say we're probably parting ways with a 3rd or 4th, maybe a draft pick next year or something like that. Maybe swapping, some other spots. I don't know, but we're probably moving on up. All right, Kurt Steele, what up, Dude Crew? What's up, man of Steel? Pierce, but I want to see Glasgow back in his normal position, right guard. I think that's going to happen. Silver, copy that, Pierce. I believe Harmon will really be really good. And Grant will be great. Feared. Yes, 100%. Keith, Don Burr, my brother. Trump's this. They probably take out a loan and go on the game or put it on credit card. Laughing out. Could be. Sometimes they put it on credit. Pierce, Silver, Harmon reminds me a lot of Joliah Cansey. And a couple years ago, there are some similarities for sure. Don, Keitho, what's good, brother? Hookadoo. Morning, man of Steel. Oh, yeah. Detroit Lions back. I'm definitely looking forward to the next parts of the season, that being the draft, and the right after the draft, we find out our schedule. Correct. Frank Tank, you all need to go back and look at Detroit Lions. They had 12 defensive linemen in the starting of preseason last year. It's a long season, people. It is a long season, 100%. All those games are no joke. Don Pierce, what up, bro? JK, no to Hendrickson. Ain't no one got him yet. Why do the Lions have to? I think some teams, from my understanding, JK, teams have tried. It's just the asking price on him, apparently, with Cincinnati, is like a first-round pick, and I think everybody's balking at that. Kenneth, bring back the Z-Man. Let's see if they do. Pierce, Donberg, good morning, dude. Exclamation point. Leonard, good morning, coach and crew. I'm a 4-seat new season ticket holder also. Let's go to a healthy Lions season. Congrats to you, my friend. Hopefully, Leonard, you have a phenomenal time with you and yours at the games. Keith, Don Burr, waiting for the draft to get here. Yeah, I'm with you there. Run the like button up. Yeah, if you guys can, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons. It helps the channel out. Keith, it's a done deal. No Hendrickson coming here. Let's move on. I'll go with that. Don Burr, Keito, ditto. Frank Tank Hendrickson wants to get paid. Cincinnati will resign him. Let's see if they do. Let's see. Silver Server, Edge, question mark. What a mystery. They are not counting on Davenport and Pascal, who spend more time in the training room. Bless them. All right. Trumps, did Harrison sign with Cincinnati? Now, if he did, I missed it, man. So it could be, maybe somebody will let us know in the comment section. JK Keith, couldn't have said it better. Frank Tank, Levi, and Pascal. Yes, they both are here. Keith, JK, what's up, brother? JK, yo, Keito, good morning. Frank the Tank, Brad Holmes will not move up in the draft. If he does anything, he will trade back. Do you all know how many superstars we have to pay on our own team? All right. Trump's Netflix supports. All right. Thomas, do not expect old Hutch back until if late in the season next year. All right, we'll go with that. JK Thomas, that's what I'm saying. All right, Motown Mitch, are we going to do anything at quarterback? Question mark. The Lions won 15 games last year with a banged-up defensive line, could not stop a nosebleed after cornerback injuries, and now you have only four cornerbacks with. Yeah, I think they will add some depth there. Is it going to be in draft, free agency? That I don't know, man. But I do, in Motown, I do think we'll make some before training camp and all that stuff, some additions. Frank Tank, 27-7 last 2 years, and we're worried about defensive end player coming on people. All right? Let's see, Silver Server, Pierce, no, Pierce. Harmon and Cansey are very different. Cansey is a meat bullet, a John Randall, and an explosion, exclamation point. Harmon is strong, rocky, determined, but long-limbed. Another type, just a view. All right? Thomas, Manu will not sniff play other than preseason until 2026. Don Burr, the annual league meeting is next week, I believe on the 30th. The 30th through 2nd. This is where Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell will speak, and questions will be asked, answered. Some will be dodged. Yeah, probably some questions will be dodged, for sure. Right. Dan is right. Not trying to get hits like other podcasts are. All right? Yeah, I just come out and do my thing, man. Hey, find what works for you. The only thing I can say to anybody on YouTube, man, is as long as it works for you, just go with it, man. All right, Pierce, Silver Server, all good. Love the dialogue. Thomas, good morning. Dan and the Duke Group, back at you. How you doing today, Byron? Let's see, Frank Tank, bandwagon fans do not understand Dan. It's okay, man. Just, again, do what works for you, man. Don Burr, Frank Tank, nobody knows what Brad will do. IG Gibbs at 12. Jack Campbell, 18. Moved up for an ACL JMO. All is correct. Yes, I think you are correct with that. And Byron, I think I said your last name, man. Sorry about that, but Byron, yes, sorry about that, man. Byron, what's going on with Aiden? I came in late. Sounds like the medical staff, at least if you believe, oh gosh, who was it? Ann Erickson. On her report, she's a longtime Lions beat reporter. She says Aiden Hutchinson has been fully cleared by training staff. He can do whatever they want to throw at him in training, conditioning, contact drills, and everything. So that leg is, fully good to go. And he still has another 4 or 5 months until training camp. Yeah, he's probably going to, in my opinion, he's probably going to be good to go by the start of the regular season. Silver, yes, Frank, but even with Levi, we are always praying that the back holds. Yes, we ought to live this with a little more faith, like everything else. Yeah, 100%. Have some faith. Frank, do you like Gibbs, Campbell, and Jamal picks? I did. Not Lavers. So where are they with the sheriff? That I don't know. Verbal Kent, a healthy Lions roster is still the best in the NFL. Trade them for some impactful talent on the D line and let it rip. Go Lions. That's what I think. But could I be wrong? Absolutely. My opinion is just my opinion. It doesn't have to be your opinion. My opinion is the Lions are going to make a targeted move on draft day to move up. But could it be? I know some of you guys said they could trade down. It's possible. It just with picking 28, I guess would you be doing it to get, multiple second rounders or something? The Lions, let's also be fair, if they want to trade down, they're in a pretty desirable position at number 28. Somebody trying to get a fifth-year option, maybe on a project quarterback or something like that, it's going to be an ideal pick. So maybe we could trade down. I just think we're trading up. All right, Lions bad guy. Looks like a lot of these guys outside of the Penn State edge rusher, I feel the grading and their play is very similar, giving up 2 players for 1 when they're pretty similar. It's smart to me. Okay. Isn't smart to you. Frank Ting, believe me, I would love to get these players. It's what I live in the real life, bro. Okay. Don Burt, nobody's saying we don't like the picks, Frank. We're saying that Brad will do or won't do is all hearsay. Exclamation point. We all thought he'd be a lot more aggressive this free agency. Brad is not predictable. I think you're spot on with that, Donnie. I think, Brad, it's hard to figure out what he's going to do at all times. He keeps people guessing. And I think he puts out misinformation just to keep people guessing. Frank Tank, I knew he wasn't going to be aggressive in free agency. Okay. Don Burr, Frank, okay. Yeah, tell us exactly what Brad will pick at or do at 28. Help us out. We'll find out. Frank Tank, it will be a corner. Wouldn't that be something? I was going with kicker myself or punter. JK, Brad is very conservative and unorthodox. You just will never know what he'll do. No, I think that's a good trait with the GM because it makes it more. I think it leads to better trade opportunities, whether it's up or down, whatever, because people don't know exactly what you're going to do. Pierce, Frank Tank, I just want an upgrade over from Davenport. That's all. You might get it. Don, a corner, laughing out loud. Pierce, just don't. Didn't we just draft 2 corners? We did. And signed DJ Reed. Also true. One Foggy Don, I don't think he would have been aggressive. Too much money coming up. Hutch, Joseph, Branch, and Laporta. Yeah, there'll be some others too. Frank Tank, you and other people might not believe in Davenport. Dan Campbell, good morning. Brad Holmes do. Yes, that is the other side of it. Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes, the Lions coaching staff or representation do believe in Davenport. So there is that. Dynamite. That's why people probably don't defense line that good. We need another defensive tackle on edge. Yeah, I think you're spot on with that, Dynamite. Pierce, and when Hutchinson gets tripled on the right side, we can't win one-on-one. Doesn't matter how long the corners can cover. No, you're right with that. Detroit Lions, 111 likes. Woo! Yeah, keep them going. If you guys can, help out the subscriptions and the likes. Leonard, coach, last year's defense roster truly identified or potentially is really an unknown because of all the injuries. Yeah, there's a whole lot of guys that could come in this year and make big impact moves for us. You're spot on with that, man. Frank Tank, our offensive line is way better than we all think. I guarantee that all 31 other NFL teams wish they had our problems at offensive line. You're probably correct with that. Motown, Don Burrow, we need about 3 cornerbacks. Keto, Tim Twentyman said Winkle will be back by training camp. Read an article. Thank you for that, Keto. Thank you very much for that update. Frank Tank, I'm just saying what I see 4 times over best Detroit Lions team is awesome. I think this is going to be the deepest Lions team any of us have realistically ever seen. Don, one funky, not grabbing the top guys, me either, but wasn't expecting Levi not getting picked up by another team. Wasn't actually expecting Barnes back. Exclamation point. I'm just saying who knows with Brad which is good. Yes, that's true. He's keeping us all guessing and wondering. Robokin, I think Kenneth Grant would be an ultimate disruptor in our front 4. We'll see if we can get him. Bad guy, Lions, maybe it's just me, but the title of being a starter is overrated. Isn't it literally just the first snap of the offense or defense for you, depending on what side of the ball you play? To a degree, yeah, you're spot on. Rick, and I also guarantee Detroit Lions will kick the bejesus out of the Chicago Bears name and Minnesota Vikings, Green Bay, and Detroit will be number 1 in the division. Let's make it so. Don Burr, Motown, okay. Okay. Hope we draft 3 out of our 4 or 7 picks. All right. Pierce, Don Burr. Also, don't think Barnes would be back. I thought the Jets were going to get him. Yeah, and Iffy. Yes, and the fact they didn't get both, maybe that's a tell. Frank, think Dan knows what he's talking about? Yeah, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Who knows, man? I try to do my best. How about that? JK, Bears building a sandcastle offense. Yeah, maybe. Let's see if we can knock that castle down. Gary Harmon and Jared Ivey, please. We'll see if we can make that happen. Don Burr, Pierce, same here. AG, and I also thought Levi would get a bigger payday. Yeah, I was a little surprised. Probably the biggest surprise was Levi because of his performance, especially in the last 2 months. I thought some team would go after him, but maybe he just said, nah, man, the Lions have shown me some love. I'm going to return the favor. Town, Mosley, Vilder, and Dorsey all gone. 3 holes to fill. All 3 don't come from the draft. That would be scary. 2 second-year cornerbacks and 3 rookies. Yeah, I'm guessing we'll probably sign 1 or 2 in free agency and probably bets. Pierce, Don Burr, I am shocked the Jets didn't trade for Hooker. At least as of yet, they haven't. Frank, think they will draft the defensive player with the 28th overall pick, and maybe it will be a defensive end. Could be. Number, if we take 3 cornerbacks, season over. Fair enough, man. Server. I wonder if the new defense coordinator or the new defensive line coach had anything to do with the releases of Boom, or if they will have anything to do with them signing him back. That I don't know. Could play a role for sure. Pierce Tomber thought Tanner loved Hooker. I thought so too. Moonscar, I like what I've seen so far. Jared Ivey also. Yeah, a lot of people are on that bandwagon. No doubts there. Don Burr, I still think Hooker might get traded. More trades are coming. Yeah, I think if Hooker gets traded, it's going to be basically right before or during the draft. That's my anticipation. Keith, too many Keiths on here. Need to change my name. Any suggestions? I'll go with whatever wisdom you offer, my friend. Trumps, let's see. Hutch will be ready game one. That's what training camp is for. All right. Keith, TRT. Don, Keith, change your name to Heatho. I'm Keith. There you go. Heath, unless you know the difference. Bad guy. Let's see. Would the Lions fans be on board with training for Cleveland to get Cleveland's second round pick, get Hooker, and pick 60 and 130? Maybe. I don't know. Silver Server, agreed 6 weeks for Hutchinson at the top. Yes, I'll go with that. Don Burr, let's see. Pierce, Don Burr, if I read it correctly, the Jets have Fields guaranteed for 1 year, so Hooker makes sense for the Jets. All right. JK, change your name to DM. All right. Don, hello. Frank Tank, you got to pay Hutchinson, Joseph Branch. The only way I see them doing this is going first year rookie contract in the secondary. Go Lions. Yeah, maybe. They're going to have to free up some money. Moonscar, would love to get John Campbell, Alabama linebacker edge. Yeah, I know. Oh, gosh, was it just yesterday? I think we had that in the 5 headlines now. I don't remember who it was said it, but somebody said it. And, apologies, I can't recall the article. Keith Moonscar, I see him as a budding Hutch. All right. Pierce, Moonscar Blade, that would be something. It would be. Frank Tank Campbell is there in the draft. The Lions will take him. Maybe. Heathrow. There you go, Keith. Don Burr, yes, I'm Heath. Sorry. Jake K, there will be 3 Campbells if that happens. There'll be a lot of Campbells. We got to get a soup commercial deal, endorsement deal. Keith, Don Bird, laughing out loud. DM5 just got here. What's the news on Hutch? He's been fully cleared by the Lions training staff per a report. I couldn't find it anywhere else corroborated or a video or on his social media, but per Ann Erickson at the heavy, he's been fully cleared and ready to get back at it. So basically, in a nutshell, they can do whatever they want with him during the rest of the offseason. They don't have to, have the training wheels on. Great thing. Just like Sheila said, you can never go wrong with a Campbell. All right. Trumps, you guys are underestimating Hutch. I think he'll be 100% first game. I'm thinking, he'll be fully good to go by then. But, that's a lot of it is based on this report that apparently there aren't any hiccups in the recovery. Now you add another 4 or 5 months of recovery. I think he's going to be good to go. That's just my opinion. It doesn't have to be yours. JK, heck, even that defensive end rotation is considered help. All right. Frank Tank, I'm just sick and tired. Play up here in about this edge. Last year with the 3rd wide receiver name, come on. All right. Carry DM5 TV. He said all set, no restrictions. Correct with Hutch. Don Burr, Detroit believes in draft, develop, re-sign. Yes, they do quite clearly, Don. I think you're spot on with it. St. Brown took time. Gibbs took time. Kirby took time. Hell, even Anslone took time, Barnes, etc. But they stick with the guys who show progress. Yeah, 100%. They stick with their own, and they show loyalty. Sign service, we may go guard with the first pick. I wouldn't be surprised if it happened. I mean, if there's just a stud guard there, that's the best player available. You take the best player available. Frank, one player does not make a difference on a football field unless you are a quarterback. That might be true. Trumps, please get rid of kickoff rules. I'll see what I can do, man. See if they listen to me. DM5, thanks, Kerry. Ed, good morning. Dan and Duke Crew, the best way to start your day is with Dan and the Duke Crew. I agree. We got a great crew here. Heath, what do you got? Hutch's left leg has major atrophy. It's about as big as my pinky finger. Hutch needs to get with the trainers. Yeah, it sounds like at this point, they can just do whatever with them. They've got basically half a year to get them ready. JK, Hutch healthy, ready to go, but his leg are ready to play strength and conditioning and practice. I don't know. No, as of today, no, but we've got about 5 months to get him ready in that regard. Good morning, Coach and Dan and Duke Crew. Back at you, Paul. Hopefully it's a good start to your day. Let's see, your hidden agenda. Yep. Trump's, the good thing about Davenport is it wasn't a leg injury. Yes, that's correct. I think he's probably pretty close to being fully ready if he isn't already. Brian, we need edge in corners. Probably true. Silent Service, I am surprised Kaminsky wasn't picked back up. Probably tells you something. I mean, there was speculation last year he might not make the team. He got on the IR, so he remained with the team. It is what it is. Brian, Andy, wide receiver. Dennis, let's hope Davenport stays healthy. I concur. Don Burr, Frank the Think, Aaron Donald, Chris Jones, Hudson don't make a difference when you have all them all year. We'll find out. DM5 TV. We pick up Darius back up. What is Brad Holmes doing? We need to pick him up. We'll see if he does. They may have already had something picked out as far as a new deal. Wait and see, my friend. Paris Brian, we need to see year 2 of our corners from last year. This is true. Trump Stan, can you possibly put what type of peptides in the comments after the show? You know what? Let me see if I can figure something out here just because it's about the end of the show. Of course, I got to get it from my phone to that. You know, guys, just text me and I'll send it over to you. You guys obviously can get my number off the start of the show. If you guys go on the channel, how about this? If you go on the channel, I did put Jen's website. It is Jen Savage, Jen 2 N's, JenniferSavageFitness.com. I believe she's got some stuff on there for you guys. In fact, gosh, now you guys got me thinking about it. Hold on. I might have an answer to the problem here. She did make a video for you guys. Let's see if I can get it on the screen real quick here. Hold on. I should have thought of this earlier. I'm guessing she can hear me right now. She's probably let's see if I can. Hold on. Maybe I can get this on the show. Hold on. I think I've got the answer to this problem. Yeah, she's on me right now, guys. Hold on. Let's see if I can add it to the screen. All right, present. Share screen. All right, let's go to the heck. There we go. All right. This might not be the most professional, but hey, you guys can see it. Maybe sure. Oh man, I got to be able to make it bigger than that, right? Oh well. Yep. Well, let's just play it. How about that? It's the end of the show.
What are precision peptides and how can they benefit you? Well, they are derived from nature, so plants, right? And that's not a prescription medication. It's not something that is synthetic and injected. It is taken in orally and through a drink or capsules, and it helps you rebuild that lean muscle. You know, that strength and vitality that we thought was gone, it can come back, and it's the best feeling. And all those fats that you feel like I just can't get rid of, this specifically targets them as well. So if you're curious and want more information, feel free to visit my website, JenSavageFitness.com, or you can email me at jen@jensavagefitness.com. So let's chat and help you feel better today. You got this.
Oop, hold on. Oop, sorry, my bad. All right. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell. The only thing I can say, guys, is having taken them during the time, you know, she's made me take them, you can clearly tell the difference in my muscle. Yeah, my waist has gone down, just the whole shebang bang. And I don't take any medications. I've never really gotten into them. Maybe you can say my mom's responsible for that because she's never really pushed us into it. But, you know, hey, it's probably at least worth you guys looking at. All right, enough about that stuff. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Hey, if there's some sort of breaking news today, I'll get it over to you guys as quick as possible, of course. If you would, before checking out, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Other than that, be a good human being. Do something kind for somebody you don't know. And we will see you all in the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody. You're still here? What are you doing here? It's over. The show's over. Go home.